So we are um, live at our social media as well, and I think we should start.
So my name is Baliza Shrestha, and I'm the Assistant Director of International Admissions at Southeast Missouri State University. And I should have put the name of our school in the slide. But so I oversee the entire international admissions at SEMO. So our full name is Southeast Missouri State University, and in short, I will be calling it SEMO. All right, so in this slide here, you can meet our current staff. So this is all the staff members of our International Education and Services office, as well as we hire a number of student workers in our office, as well as we have one graduate assistant. But yeah, so I hope you all are familiar. I don't know how much familiar you are with the map of the US, but this is the US map, as you can see on the screen. And we are located in the state of Missouri. Right, so the dot here is, Cape Girardeau. That's the name of the town we are located in, which is in Missouri. And it's also referred to as like the Midwest region of the US, because we are kind of in the central. And just to give you a, little overview of Cape Girardeau, we're located at the banks of the Mississippi River. Mississippi River is one of the longest river in the US. It flows all the way from the north. It originates in the north in Minnesota, and then it flows all the way to like the Gulf of Mexico. So that's how long the river is. The river is about like 20 minutes walk from campus. So being in the middle of the US, the weather is, I would say, not too extreme. So if you go north of Missouri, you can get really harsh winters. And if you go south of Missouri, the summers will be extremely hot and humid. So we're kind of in the sweet spot where you see a variation of the weather, but not in two extremes. So Cape is a town of about 60,000 people, 40 to 60,000. So in daytime, we have a lot of people from outside towns coming into Cape to work. So it's a small town, but for a small town, we have relatively decent amenities. For example, like we have two major hospitals in Cape. So it's very unique to have two big hospitals in a small town. So in that way, students have also found employment in these hospitals, who come as nursing student or nutrition and exercise major students. Another thing is we're a small town, but we have decent, a choice of restaurants available, which is also important for international students. So there's availability of Asian food and Indian food, things like that. All right, so moving on, because we're also a small town, we are relatively safe. Safety is one of the biggest concerns for parents of, especially undergraduate students. And Cape is a relatively safe town to live. And being in like a remote location, the cost of living is also lower compared to big cities. Also, so our school, which is SEMO, Southeast Missouri State University, we were established in 1873. So we've been around for 150 years. We celebrated our 150 years last year, in fact. So we offer, 170 plus degree programs. So 170 plus bachelor's and master's programs combined. Out of those, around 44 are STEM designated programs. So STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And I will talk about STEM later. But what STEM major does is it offers international students, 3 years of OPT. So OPT is what you'll be in after graduation, like you'll be in OPT status after graduation. And if you're a STEM major, you get up to 3 years of OPT. For a non-STEM major, students get up to 1 year of OPT. So that's the difference between STEM designated and non-STEM designated programs. In addition to, our variation of programs that we offer. We also offer really competitive, good scholarships of up to $8,000 at undergraduate level. And I will talk about scholarship in my future slide, but I just wanted to tell you that we offer, merit-based scholarships for high achieving students up to $8,000 in amount. And these scholarships are also automatically placed in your I-20. Like there's not a separate application that students must fill. So we just look at the qualifying GPA and qualifying test scores, and we automatically place, put the scholarships in your I-20. Relative to, so education in the US is very expensive, but CMO offers a very good quality of education at a very affordable price, which is why it's also, the top choice for a lot of international students who are price conscious. We also offer on-campus job opportunities for students. So all students who are on F1, international students, are allowed to work up to 20 hours a week on campus. Other than that, we have small classroom sizes, which is also important to consider. So only about 1% of classes in CMO have students greater than 50. So most of our class sizes are small, between 20 to 30. And especially in science class, which has labs, they don't exceed 20 students per lab section. So in this way, the student to instructor or faculty ratio is smaller. That way you get more personal attention from the faculty. So I already talked about the lower cost of living than, our coastal counterpart. So if you are living in the coast, so we're in the center, but if you go in either of the coasts, like California, New York, Florida, living costs will dramatically increase in the coast. So currently, we have about 1,300 international students. Our international student population has dramatically grown in the last few years. This semester, we saw the highest record of international students in CMO's history. So we had about 415 students, who received visa to come to CMO. So it was a really big fall size. We're also seeing more and more students from Pakistan being admitted. So we're seeing greater number of applications from Pakistan also in the last 1 year. So this is just a picture of our international student community. I would like to point out to this online brochure. I have a link here, but when you get a time, and I can send my slides to Farouk, and then we can share with everybody. But this is our online brochure. Let me I clicked on it. But this is really, it summarizes, all our degree programs, like campus life. You can take a virtual tour. So I highly suggest you to take a look at this online brochure. You can look at different, the specific programs that we have, and what are STEM designated programs, talk about. And what's neat about this online brochure is that if you click on any of these major, so let's click on this, it'll take you to the page of the department, major. And then if you scroll down, it's also got a list of, like what you can do with this degree, the potential employers. So it can be starting point when you get to a stage where you are looking for jobs as you are about to graduate, right? So this is a really neat tool that's available to our prospective students. And let me go back to the presentation. Okay, so let's click on the Also, I should mention that we have added new STEM programs. So we've added 2 business programs that are STEM designated. That would be business analytics and financial econometrics. Business analytics is quite popular. Both are offered at the undergrad level. And recently, all our mass communication majors are also STEM designated. So that's something new that we have offered beginning last fall. We Our top program at the bachelor's and master's level are computer science and cybersecurity. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about computer science and cybersecurity. So the state of Missouri has also, granted a statewide mission to CMO to be leaders in cybersecurity and applied computer science. So the department is really well funded and it has, good resource. Also, CMO was one of the first university in Missouri to offer a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, right? So it's like it's a distinguished educational center for cybersecurity. And it's considered distinguished also by, Department of Homeland Security and National Security Agency. We were also recently awarded IBM Cyber Command Center, and only a handful of schools in the U.S. have a Cyber Command Center, and CMO is one of them. So there are lots of resources, in cybersecurity and computer science programs here, and the job market is also good. Also, the other competitive program that CMO has, which is not very popular among international students, but we still have international students enrolled in the program, is our visual and performing arts. So we are also top 30 in the country for conservatory of music, theater, and dance. And these programs are very affordable for the quality of education they are giving to the students. Also, what is unique about the arts program, besides the tuition being low, is also, the program really focuses on how to have a career in arts, whether it's by, performing on stage, like being an artist, actor, performer on stage, to, also behind the stage, like how to handle a stage crew, how to manage a theater. So these two programs would be, one of the top programs offered at CMO. However, it's not just limited to those programs. So I'll quickly walk you through the most popular programs among our international students. So these are the programs in bachelor's level that are highly popular. So I already talked about computer science, cybersecurity. We also have business major, different concentrations, as you can see, economics, finance, business administration, business analytics. Then we have actuarial science, which is also quite popular. Then biology is also one of the top programs. They're also heavily focused on doing research, where undergraduate students can also get opportunities to, shadow professors in the lab and work with them on various research projects and also publish. So other majors we have engineering, physics, hospitality management, psychology, public health. Actually, we are also eliminating public health, so should not be there. Because we're not seeing that many students at the bachelor's level. Actually, most of so the department is trying to, change the public health program. Sorry for that. So do not apply for public health. Most students who are interested in public health are now being encouraged to apply for our nutrition program. That is big. I already talked about the music, theater, dance. We also have interior designing, marketing, and nursing. So as you can see, we offer, programs at a wide range of disciplines. And then let's move on to our master's degree programs. Again, most of our students are coming for applied computer science, cybersecurity, technology management is also a solid program in CMO. MBA is also one of the most popular graduate programs. Definitely look into MBA. and it's got a lot of different concentrations that they offer. MPA, then we have environmental science and biology, which is also a lot of international students coming to study these. Environmental sciences also has grown in the last year. We have a lot of international students from South Asia, Africa coming to study. So a lot of research opportunities are available in environmental science and biology programs. We also have TESOL, quite a number of South Asian students and African students come to study TESOL program. The nutrition and exercise science is gaining popularity, and also English and management programs at graduate master's level are quite popular. And the ones that with asterisks are STEM designated, as I said, you will be eligible for 3 years of OPT. And to see what programs are STEM designated, I would encourage you to see our online brochure. So some of the pages that are, good to bookmark if you are thinking of applying to CMO. So I've just listed, given links to some pages here. I'm going to talk about cost and fees of CMO. Okay, so this is our table for the next, for the upcoming year. And our undergrad, so this is broken down into undergrad and graduate costs. And you can see the cost broken down by various categories. Okay, so for undergraduate tuition fees, it's around 17,000 US dollars, which is extreme, I would say it's very affordable in comparison to other universities in the US, because education in the US is, very expensive. So for graduate, it's a little cheaper, right? So it's around 13,000 US dollars. And this is not counting scholarship. So housing, most of our undergraduates live in on-campus housing in their freshman year at least. If you are 21, if you are less than 21 years, you are required to live on campus. So this is the housing estimate cost of living on campus. And this is the estimate cost, 4,500 for grad is the cost of living off campus. Most of the, the housing may come out to be lower than the amount specified here, because most of our international students are sharing, an apartment. So if you have a 2-bedroom apartment, they're sharing with 2 up to 4 roommates. So this is just an estimate, right? You are usually paying less than that if you're living off campus. So this is the cost of the meals, personal expense. And then what's important for you to realize is that all international students in the US are required to get health insurance. So the health insurance for CMO is around $700 a semester and about $1,500 a year. So it's extremely important to get health insurance, so that most of your doctor visits will be covered by the insurance and you don't have to pay additional costs, right? So your insurance will take care of most of your costs of the healthcare. So when you're applying to CMO, you need to submit bank statement, which I'll get to later on. So if you're applying for undergrad program, we need to see at least like a minimum of around 31,000, and then a minimum of around 23,000 if you're applying for your master's. So CMO also offers merit-based scholarships. And scholarships are extremely important consideration for students, and it also helps to offset the tuition costs, right? So let's walk you through the scholarships available. So we'll just look at the undergraduate scholarship here. Okay, so this is the undergrad scholarship. We offer up to $8,000 in scholarships for undergrads. And the qualifying GPA is 3.75. And you also have to take one of these English proficiency test scores. And these are the test scores that need to be, that you need to have to qualify for the $8,000 scholarship. So the next two scholarship amounts are at 7260. Qualifying GPA is 3.25. There is no English test scores that are looked at to award the scholarship. So it's purely based on GPA. And the lowest amount is $2,000 with qualifying GPA of 2.5. And all this is available in our website as well. We don't get a lot of transfer students from Pakistan, but we do get a lot of transfer students from other countries. And there's also scholarships available for our transfer students. So it goes up to 7260 for transfer students. For graduate students, the scholarship amount is not that high as for undergraduate, but we do offer up to $1,000 of scholarship for graduate students. Also, graduate student, studies is a little bit cheaper than undergraduate studies, and the qualifying GPA is 3.0. Right, so this is the scholarship, details, and all this is available in our website. So now I will just walk you through our application page, and I can also show you how to access the scholarship page and the cost and fees page. So let's go to this website. So we're cimo.edu/international/admissions. So that'll take you to our international admissions webpage. So here we have 8 different student types. Most students from Pakistan will be either a first-year international or a graduate international, right? So you will be new first-time student at undergrad or graduate level. We also offer English intensive program, like students who come to study purely English to get, their ESL certificate. But from Pakistan, we don't get a lot of IEP students. So you can either just click in here. If you're a first-year undergrad, you're going to click here. So this is one of the ways you can see, what you need to submit for your application, what's required for admission. All right, so some of the things I'll just quickly walk you through. So you need to obviously submit your transcripts, of your grade 10 for your SSC and HSC certificate. That's what you need to submit for your transcripts. You can submit unofficial copy. We make admission decision based on unofficial copies, and official copies are required after admission. You'll also need to submit proof of English proficiency test. And if you want to just click here, it'll take you to another web page with more detail. All right, so English proficiency requirements for undergrad. You can just click here and it'll list the different tests that are acceptable. I'm going to go back. And then you also need to submit a financial affidavit and proof of finances. So it's a bank statement showing that you have enough funds to cover your tuition, which I just mentioned earlier. So let's click here. This is the affidavit of financial support that everybody needs to sign. If you have a sponsor, if you are not self-sponsored, and if your parent, a family member, a third party is sponsoring you, you need to fill their name, email address, relationship, and the sponsor signature is also required at the bottom of the form. Okay, so this is our financial affidavit form. And if you go to the estimated cost sheet, this will take you to the page. This will show the table that I showed earlier in my slide. So this is the cost and fees table. This is the amount you need to see, amount you need to show at undergrad level, and amount you need to show at grad level. If you are bringing any dependents, All right, you also must add $2,000 to that amount for one dependent, and if you have and keep adding $1,000 if you are bringing more dependents. So with every increase in dependents, you increase in $1,000 that you must show. Okay, so that's the financial. Then of course you need a passport as well. And make sure you're also renewing your passport. They must be valid for at least 6 months. When you are uploading your passport, we need to see that they're valid for at least 6 months beyond the program start date. If you are, so this is the essay standardized test scores. And complete the online application. If you click here, the application page, this will take you to the application page, and this is how you can start your application. And please select international. So that gives you an overview of how the website is set up and how you can apply to SEMO. So after admission, so we make admission decision based on unofficial transcripts and unofficial test scores. But once you're admitted, you are required to send your official transcripts and official test scores. So that's very important. Official test scores must be sent, prior to, enrollment in your first semester, and official transcripts must be sent so you can enroll in your second semester. Our graduate admission requirement is more or less the same. We need to get transcripts, your English proficiency tests. English proficiency test requirements are also different for undergrad as opposed to grad, right? So you would need a slightly higher test to be to get admission. So make sure you're also going in this policies and guidelines page to look into more, to get more details. So want to mention, let's talk about the application deadline. Okay, so let's go to the policy page. Application deadline. So if you are applying for fall, right? So application deadline is July 1st. And if you are applying for spring, the application deadline is November 1st. So if you are applying for spring 2025, you have until November 1st to submit all your application materials. This is for regular international students. I'm not going to talk about IP because we don't get IP students from Pakistan. Some graduate programs have an early application deadline. Let me just show you. So there are about, so these graduate programs have early application deadline, and one of them is applied computer science and cybersecurity. Right, so the deadline for fall is March 1st, as opposed to July 1st, and the deadline for spring is October 1st, as opposed to November 1st. Some of these programs are summer admission only, so international students are not eligible to apply to these programs. So if you see summer admission only, they're not open to international students. The only available intake for international students are fall and spring. So the August or January intake. We also require you to submit a $60 application fee. It's mandatory fee and non-refundable, right? So $60 application fee is also required. And then the app fee is also relatively cheaper to some other universities who are charging like $75. Also, many a time a student may not get a visa to come to attend the semester they have applied to, right? So in such cases, international students will defer the application to a future semester. And for a deferred application, we do not charge application. So you only pay the fee one time. And then if you need to submit a new application because you cannot come for that semester, that will be, there won't be any cost to apply again. So, you should look into English proficiency requirements. Most of our students are taking TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo. Duolingo is also offered, online, and it's easy to get test dates. The waiting time is not long. So a lot of students are also opting for Duolingo these days. If you have, let's say, O-level, A-level, if you've done a Cambridge or a Pearson A-level, O-level curriculum, you are exempt from taking English proficiency test scores. So just keep that in mind. So if you have done Cambridge A-level, O-level, you do not need to take IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, Duolingo as such. So I would highly recommend you to look at this website to get additional details. Here is our what's required for finances. For undergrad, the minimum admission, GPA is 2.0. So when you submit transcripts, the admission office is converting your native GPA to a GPA in the US scale, which is out of 4.0. And so the minimum GPA admission is 2.0. This is what's required for undergraduate admission, your transcripts, complete application form, application fee, your affidavit and proof of finances, passport, and proof of English proficiency test. To the graduate is also the same, except like your test score requirements are different from undergraduate. And sometimes admissions requirements also vary by program. So if you click here, like some have early deadlines, which we already talked about. You should also look at what is required for the individual department, and major. For example, like biology will also require 2 recommendation letters, things like that. So you should also look into the actual departmental requirements. We used to require GRE for MBA, but GRE is no longer required for any of the majors. However, if you have a low GPA, I encourage you to take GRE because that can compensate for having a low GPA. But GRE is not a requirement for admission. Okay. I also wanted to tell you that some majors also require a slightly higher English proficiency test scores. So some examples are like mental health counseling. You need, 3 reference letters, and you need IELTS of at least 7.0 to get admission into this program. So there are some programs, not a lot, that do require slightly higher English scores. I should also mention that our business, we offer business program, right? It's also accredited at the highest level of accreditation. So all our business programs I can't remember the name of the accreditation, but the ACCSB accreditation, and that's one of the highest level of accreditation a business program can be. Like, yes, so I just wanted to mention that. So I talked about most of the things. I think the last thing I wanna hone in on is our scholarship. So let's look at the scholarship page. So we're going to go back to the policy and guideline page. I'm going to go here, international admission, and just keep scrolling down. And we're not going to policy and guideline, but let's go down here to scholarship page. Rather than condition, we're going to the international scholarship. So this is the page again I showed you, but this is how you can access our scholarship. Yeah. And again, we are offering really good scholarships at the undergrad level of up to $8,000, and that offsets about 50% of your tuition. Right, so most of our international students are getting the IAA and the IAE scholarship. But if you are, let's say, a physics major, and if you are maintaining a really good GPA, there are some programs that also give you additional scholarships of up to 5,000. You don't need to fill out a separate application. The students are just contacted by the Student Financial Services based on your GPA. They are called endowed scholarships. And if you're doing really well in your program at CMO, you may also qualify for additional endowed scholarship. And I know students who have received those endowed scholarships. If you are, we also have students who are undergraduate and they, after graduation, they want to get a master's at CMO. So when you're doing that, you're also paying cheaper. So for any CMO alumni, the tuition is also charged at the domestic rate rather than the international rate. So if you are doing a master's after your bachelor's, your tuition fee will be lower compared to if you were a new first-time graduate. So there is also that. So I think, I shared the key things I wanted to tell you in today's talk. You can contact us at international@cmo.edu. All right, so if you have any questions about admission, about application, procedure, please contact international@cmo.edu. Applying to CMO is also very straightforward. When you open an application, it should tell you what documents are required for what major, the major you're applying for. So it should, the applications are also open until fall 2025. And we are processing applications for fall 2025. So just wanted to mention that. And yes, I think I'm going to conclude my talk here. If you have any questions, please feel free to jump in, and you're always welcome to at international. So Farooq, yes, let me know if the students have any questions. I think it's a lot of information was shared, but I also believe that our CMO website is so organized and information is laid out in a really digestible manner that please visit our website also for more information.
Thank you very much for giving these information. And the event has been recorded as well, so we will use it for our social media as well. And I hope for winter intake, we will have few application. Visa process is very straightforward in Pakistan. This is the only category a visa in which student can get apartment very easily within a 10 days, 12 days. And during interview, embassy just take I-20 and passport and 1 or 2 minutes interview. That's it. And within a 1 or 2 minutes, they decide uh, to give visa or not. Uh, we always uh, prepare our students for the interview, uh, and so that there should be no any problem during the interview. So I think we should organize these type of events once in a month, uh, and if we work together, I hope we will have a good result, inshallah. I think you have muted. You are muted, I think. Yes. No voice from you, sir. So I will keep in touch you on the on email for the next event, and I will uh, get back to you after following up with the students. And once again, thank you very much for giving your time, and see you in Pakistan in near future. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, I bye bye. See you again.